when the personality collapses or is collapsed, from where comes the impulse where comes the impulse to come into action? Yeah. So sometimes when you have like strong awakenings, there is no impulse and you get people just like sitting for ages. And then there needs to come a balance in the end where it's like there is this freedom, but there also is like a character that's there as well. It's taken me years to kind of begin to balance them. Like in the beginning, for me, there was such a big awakening and so empty, and I could just sit and stare for ages and do nothing. And that's, you know, that's it, impossible. Like unless you go and live in a cave in the middle of nowhere, that's really impossible to do. And so there's to become a balance, because you need a character in order to have impulses and to interact in this society. If you have no impulses, then you would just end up becoming everybody else's slave or something. Like you would be following just external impulses, which I did for a while. Like I had to find that balance. And so in the beginning, because there's so much teaching which says that there is nobody, and then when you have these big awakenings, there is still a character, and what eventually needs to happen is you need to focus on the subtlety of that character and become more human again. It's like you go to one extreme, and it's not easy to navigate all of this, because there isn't like teachings are so different dependent on the teacher. And so like if you listen to a teacher where you're saying there is nobody, you can be so focused on the expansiveness of who you are that you just become this expansiveness of who you are, which is possible, but you can't function in everyday life. And so in a way, it's almost like I had to have a character come back in order to function. And I found that strange in the beginning. I didn't know, like there were thoughts like, was that re-identifying, or was that going too much back into the person? But I didn't have any barometer or anybody to talk about that with. And there has to be a gentle merging, otherwise you cannot function if you just are in boundlessness. So there has to be some form of character. But what I feel happens is the character comes back like a ghost, like. So it comes back with more than likely its own old desires and wants, but they're slightly changed, and characteristics. And I feel like, so after over the last 10 years, what's happened then is this ghost-like character came back. Or maybe it was always there, but it was just very, very small, but it came back so I could feel it. And then since then, there's been a balancing out of that character. Like in it becoming like more conscious of itself, and I feel like more balanced. Maybe to regular society, it would be like more crazy or more naughty. Or more loopy. Did I say that one already? Oh dear. Today, there was a word I couldn't say. An English word I couldn't say anymore. And I mean, I have dyslexia, so I have problems with speaking sometimes. But that word I knew so well. That was funny. I sometimes wonder if waking up, I mean, I already had a dodgy memory, and then waking up makes your memory worse. I have heard this. And like after 10 years now, it's like deteriorating and deteriorating. Soon I'm just going to be sounds like, I'm going to go pre-verbal. Oh, my talks will be like, oh wow, nice dance of birds out there. So, you got to balance it, and it's hard, because when you listen to like really like extreme non-duality talks, because in the beginning it's almost like you have to go very extreme. So there is nobody, and when you go poof to like this absolute emptiness, then there's not really that many teachers where it helps you then integrate the person again. I had to do it by trial by fire. That was trial by fire. And get my ass burnt to get the person into action. Set my butt on fire. Yes. But you know, all these words, like even saying all this, I can't guarantee I'm right. I don't know. Like in the end, all I really know is this is it. And this is seemingly my experience and my current knowledge on the human level, and it's coming out from nothingness. But in the end, we don't know. We just know this moment. And in this moment, everything disappears, all these words, all this meaning. There is simply this moment. There's nothing we can be sure about. So maybe in 10 years' time, I'll be like, I was all wrong 10 years ago. This is the way it is. We just know this. And that's disconcerting for the person, because the person wants to have its bread pass. You know, like that story where the witch lives in a candy house, gingerbread house, and they drop bits of bread in order to follow it back and get out of the forest, and the birds eat all the bread. So we all want to have this these drops of bread in order to follow. But these drops of bread disappear as soon as you drop them, they get eaten. You're never going to have this road to follow. We just know this. Everything else is kombucha, just a made up word. Kombucha. Everything else is kombucha. That's a drink. Thank you, Theo. Hi, Osborne. Osborne is the gentleman who owns a channel called Lisa Cairns Video Clips, and he uploads clips of edited talks. He's going to take a rest for a while, but there's lots of video clips on there under different titles and in different playlists, and they're all edited. And they're really, I've had so many nice feedbacks about they're really well picked and they're really well done. So you can find it. It's called Lisa Cairns Video Clips, and that's on YouTube. So Osborne.